Welcome back. Yeah, I was going to talk about, oh, person with dog, don't look at them. She's close. Um, Going to friends with problems. What was my note about that? I was feeling about, oh, okay, I think this is pretty interesting. But let's hold off judgment before I actually say it. um, I was feeling kind of bad about social things, and talking to Sadie and Dalton helped. I never had social problems before, so I never needed friends. I just isolated, so there was nothing to talk or worry about. Um, um, so that was the thing I was thinking about is like before, um, I never really felt bad. I, I never had social problems before because I never did anything. So, like, I didn't really need friends to go to. Like, I'm just imagining in my head, like, okay, you're like a 20-year-old person and, like, you have this group of friends. And so, like, you have these social problems where, like, oh, this one friend said this one thing to me and it was weird. So, like, then I go to my other friend and, like, okay, let's talk about it. And, like, you just have all these social interactions. But I never needed to go to a friend because I was so isolated that I didn't have those social problems. All my problems, I had the big, like, umbrella social problem of not having any friends, but, like, how could you go to a friend to talk about not having any friends? That doesn't make any sense, right? If you had a friend, then you wouldn't have that problem anymore. So that's technically not a social problem. That's like, yeah, I've never tried to explain this before and never really thought about it before, but it's like a weird. Hopefully, I'm making sense. Um, Not having friends is not a problem that you go to a friend with to help you feel better. And I've never had a problem like that where like I needed to go to a friend to help me feel better. Um, I don't know, like if I did bad at school, maybe it would have helped to have a friend, but it's just like, okay, just study more. Um, if your parents get mad at you, just do what your parents say. If you get sick, stay home. Like all these problems that you can have. I felt like, and it's not totally true. Like what I'm saying is like if I had friends, like that would have helped. But I didn't ever have a social problem. But the reason I was feeling bad these past couple weeks is because I had a social problem. My social problem was that I wasn't doing. This is, I don't know. My social problem was that I wasn't doing enough social things, which kind of seems similar to the not having friends problem, but it's not. It's different. And so I can go, I mean, maybe this makes no sense, but to me, in my head, it makes sense. I can go, so now I have a friend, Dalton, and Sadie kind of, even though I paid her to do the peer group, but like she's, I don't know, I think kind of similar with therapy, like, um, it's the closest I've never, yeah, I'm just trying to express that, like, I've never had a friend to go to with a social problem, and that's kind of what I did this weekend. I went to Dalton, mostly Dalton, and kind of Sadie. I went to them, um, and I was feeling bad this past couple weeks, because, like, I haven't been doing social things, and, like, they helped me feel better about that social thing, and that's just kind of, like, mind-blowing to somebody who's never had friends before, that like, oh wait, and this is just me trying to express that, like, wait, you can go to friends and they can make you feel better about social stuff. Right, because that didn't make any sense before. Because friends was like the stressful thing. Like, why would you go to a friend? That's the thing that stresses you out and like that you don't have. So that doesn't make any sense. But now I could go to a friend, and a friend could go to me. That was something I was feeling self-conscious about. Like, I'm going to people for help, and I'm not helping them. Dalton, if you want to just do a whole... Because when we talked, I feel like I mostly talked about me, which was bad. I was mostly just like, oh, my week was not great, and like, I did ask, I feel like I asked about your week, hopefully, but I feel like you were like, oh, it was okay. But if you're ever feeling bad, we can talk about, I don't know if I'll do a good job at making you feel better, because I don't really have much practice at that, but I will try. And I'll say, keep at it, bucko. Have you ever tried just not feeling sad? That's the kind of advice I would give. I would give you terrible advice. I'm anxious about this thing. Oh, just don't worry about it. What's the big deal? Oh, thanks, I'm cured. I'll try to give better advice than that. I'll try. I'm not really paying attention to my level distribution. Boom, boom. I forget, is this the girl or the boy? Do I have a queen or a king? We'll definitely tell. Oh, that's a girl. They made her look kind of sassy, I think I remember. She's like, ooh, sassy. Yeah. That's definitely the girl. So I'm going to get a Nido Queen. There's a player on the Mets called Nido. N-I-D-O. Sometimes I call him Nido King. My Nido King. I don't think he's hit a home run this year, which is weird, but anyway. I haven't looked at my level distributions in a while. Nidorina. Oddish. Oops. Okay. Okay. But yeah, I was feeling bad about it. I just isolated, so there was nothing to talk or worry about. I mean, that's a big part of it. Like, obviously, when you isolate from people, you don't have a lot of problems. You don't have a lot of social problems. You just have the one big social problem of, oh, I'm not talking to anybody ever. But you don't have the social problem of like, oh, I said something mean to somebody, or somebody said something mean to me. If all your interactions are just with strangers, then the interaction just stops there, right? You don't have to see them again. I mean, it might make you feel bad about yourself. But when you don't have any friends, you just internalize that, and you're just like, oh, yeah, he called me weird because I'm weird. And then you move on, and you don't think about that person really anymore. Even if you have internalized what they said, you don't think about, like, the stranger, really, I feel like. Okay, I don't have cut. Do I have cut? Do I have any HMOs or whatever? No. Oh, TM case. Oh, wow, I gotta use this stuff. Whatever. Yeah, it's always weird that they make the TM is like a CD. What do you do with that CD? You just jam it into their Pokemon's mouth? They got like a CD player in their face. Okay, I got 2 minutes. I guess I won't. I don't know. What do you want to talk about? Tomorrow you want to talk about debt, um, the debt relief thing. Dalton commented, and I think it was like, "Oh, talk about like debt relief or something." How do you feel about Joe Biden's plans? Um, so maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Should I talk about more political stuff? I don't know. I remember when I was talking to Dalton, he was like worried about. Sorry, Dalton. I'm gonna say like I don't know what we said. I won't say anything like personal, but I don't know. This is kind of personal. But like you had expressed a little bit of trepidation. What's the word I'm thinking of? Uneasiness with like posting videos because you're like a little bit worried about mean people and mean comments, and so you kind of asked me like, "Oh, do you ever deal with that?" And I never really have. And I think the reason is because all my videos are so personal, except for that "What is a woman" video. And you want to know what? I got a weird comment on that video. It wasn't like mean, but it was like weird because it was me making like a video about something else. It wasn't about me. It was like I have opinions, but they're always like directed at myself, and I kind of like that I do that. Um, I try to almost never be like, "Oh, Trump is like stupid," or "Biden is an idiot." Like this thing is stupid. If I say something stupid, I always kind of say like, "Well, what does that say about me?" Like, why am I saying that, and why am I feeling this way? That's what I want to talk about, and that's like the interesting stuff to me. Like, it's not really interesting to just be like, "Oh, Trump is stupid." I don't. I mean, it's not interesting for me to say that. I'll listen to other people say that, fine. But like, for me, like hearing myself back and like listening to that kind of talk is it makes me not like myself as much and be like, why don't you talk about you, like your feelings? Talk about your feelings. How do you feel about things? That's like I don't know why, but like that's how I why am I doing that again? um Talk about like how you're experiencing life. Like observe it. Observe the happenings. Step outside for a second and be like, why are you feeling this way? Um, like you're allowed to feel your feelings, obviously, but it's the interesting thing is to analyze the feelings and be like, well, why am I feeling that way? Um, and maybe I don't do that as much as I am saying that I do right now, but that's the interesting thing to me. I feel like whenever I watch videos back and I'm like, oh, I kind of like this, it's always like that sphere of talk. That's usually what I'm talking about. Just like, oh, when I was younger, I experienced this thing, and like that's affecting me, and like how am I experiencing life? I mean, I'll talk about stuff like stories and Resident Evil is good or something. I don't know. um, but I feel like whenever I give kind of a straight opinion, just like, oh, this thing is good or this is bad, I always do this, I'm sure. I always kind of like preface it or say at the end like, oh, but like I have no idea what I'm talking about. This is just like how I'm feeling about this thing. Um, because that's it. I mean, when you interact with media, it's all feelings. It's all you want to get into the technical aspects of like, oh, the he used a Dutch angle for this shot, and that's. I mean, even then, it's like Dutch angles are used to convey emotions, right? It's meant to convey uneasiness. So just talk about, oh, I liked this movie because I felt uneasy. and like that was cool. Or I didn't like this movie because I was supposed to feel uneasy and I didn't. Um, and that's it. It's all about my feelings, and I feel like I've been self-conscious about that because it feels narcissistic to always kind of direct it at yourself. But I've got to get over that because what's more important than understanding your feelings and how you interact with the world? Um, so many other people, their main focus is on other people and how other people are acting, um, before they like take a second to think about like, wait, what am I doing? Why am I yelling at all these other people? Um, I don't know. Part of me is like, oh, that's kind of a conservative take right there. Like, clean your own bedroom before you yell at other people. Politicians, you can yell at politicians. You're supposed to. That's always been my take. Most other, like, politicians and CEOs, you can be mad at them. You can yell at them. Everybody else, I feel like you can work on yourself first before you just get mad, like, at some random person on Twitter who's got, like, 30 followers. And you're like, you said something racist. I say, oh, calm down, all right? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. See you tomorrow. Bye.